Hello, welcome to
Papi Pre-Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we'll review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every other week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Tap.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled.
Press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Hello, Natalie. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah? Ready to talk about this classic hit?
Uh-huh.
All right. Tap came out in 1989 with a runtime of 1 hour and 51 minutes. It's streaming on Tubi. It was written and directed by Nick Castle. Main stars are Gregory Hines, Suzanne Douglas, and Sammy Davis Jr. Fun fact, I took a tap class in college. I thought I was pretty good. But when I asked the professor if I should take the advanced course, he said, probably not a good idea. He shamed me. I guess I wasn't good at all. He told me no. So what'd you think of the movie?
It was good. I thought it was a little strange.
A little strange. How so?
I thought that his whole, being a robber thing didn't fit. It felt very strangely wedged in there just to give a movie a reason for things to happen.
Okay. I mean, there's the struggle, right? There has to be some type of...
Yeah, but I feel like there could have been a better struggle. It just didn't suit him.
All right. Like, you don't see him being like a thief type of person.
No, I feel like the movie would have been better if he was like a drug addict.
I would have got a lot more serious. I think this movie is just goofy and fun. You know, watching it again, I thought, I really loved it. I don't know why we waited so long to watch it. It is one of my favorite movies. And I remember most of it. I have it almost memorized, especially all the tap moves. Because like I said, when I took tap class, I really got into it and watched this movie 10 more times. I thought that this was a little too much fun to be adding drugs into the mix. Even the gun play, there's a couple scenes with the gun. And even the love scene, all kind of seemed out of place to this more of a goofy,
it made it seem corny. It's like him being a robber. It was it wasn't oh, I'm gonna go rob a building. It was dun dun, like cheesy, corny. It didn't seem serious at all, or it just didn't fit the movie at all.
I thought that's why I liked it, because the movie did seem a little corny and cheesy, and that's why I thought it was just so much fun.
But it was cheesy, which I think is a lot of romance movies are cheesy, but I think there's a difference between cheesy and corny is like cartoons almost.
You know,
that Looney Tunes kind of ridiculous vibe, and that's how I felt about him being climbing buildings and stuff. It's just kind of ridiculous.
Well, you would say that the reason he was so good at that is because he was a tap dancer. So he had the balance, he had the skill to be able to jump on catwalks and get through things and be a cat burglar. That's what the term comes from. So I'm I get it. It makes sense with him being that way. But you're right. It doesn't make sense that he would be that way, because he seems more of a happy-go-lucky dude. And he doesn't also seem like the kind of guy who likes all the rich stuff.
Yeah. And it also felt like it was chopped into the movie. The whole movie wasn't cohesive in the way where it combined that. It was just he's doing one thing and then it switches, and now he's in robber mode, and then it switches and he's back to his tap mode or whatever. It's not a mixture of the two.
There's a whole daddy issue thing, and they never really get involved into it. And I think maybe going that way, where he just does not want to do tap dancing because he doesn't want to be his father, who died poor but happy. So it's you know what I mean? Maybe if his dad was a total bum, and then but he was tried his best, but he was a failure in life. But it doesn't seem like the dad was a failure. He had his own studio, and he was loved, beloved.
Or he could do the other way, where was abandoned by his father or something. That His father was never home, or
because he was a success at dancing or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Well, what do you rate it?
I give it a 4 stars.
I thought you laughed a lot. We had talked about not too long ago how you don't really laugh out loud, but you had a lot of giggling moments. Sandman made you laugh a lot. That old man just made you chuckle, maybe because you have an old man for an old man. So.
Because he's just such a hater.
He is. And I think that's in character. From what I understand, Sandman used to be a boxer. That's why he has such great steps, like great footing. And he's just a cranky old cuss. Like that's how he is. I think that's how he is in life.
That's what I find funny about him.
Yeah. So
that he just doesn't care.
No. And people like,
he's not trying to.
Sandman, stop, Sandman.
He's not pretending to be something he's not. He's just being a hater.
And Max laughs at him. He's like, oh, okay, what are you doing? Like he makes faces and he does voices to make fun of him. And it's not like, well, that's kind of disrespectful, but it's all in love.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I thought Sandman was funny and an amazing dancer. That's the other thing. So like when they get into their challenge, you see Sandman being this just, and then he starts going crazy. And you know he's an old man. Who knows how old he was at the time the movie came out. And he's still an amazing dancer, however many years later. It wasn't like him being an actor who doesn't know how to dance. He's a dancer who tried to do some acting.
That was one of my questions is how did they cast this movie? Because, like, I don't know if you could get talent like that and teach it in... Because you know how in, like, La La Land, what's the guy's name? Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
He learned piano for that role. Like I don't think they can do that in this case.
I think these guys, and most of them didn't have any speaking roles or like, they had faces, but these guys are probably truly like headliners of the days of the 30s and the 40s and the 50s where these guys were amazing top dancers. And then they're like, let's call the old crew together to make this movie. Because other than Sammy Davis Jr., who is a legend, we'll talk about him when we get to him, no one else is like a famous actor except for Gregory Hines. And Gregory Hines, the lead guy who plays Max, is an actor, singer, dancer.
So he was already into all the dancing.
Yeah. And so is Sammy Davis Jr. Well, and I don't even know. Do you know who Sammy Davis Jr. Little Mo, do you know who he is? Sammy Davis Jr. is the Rat Pack. So him, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, they're the Rat Pack. They're the original OG entertainers of Las Vegas and the world. Sammy Davis Jr. saying the Candyman can, that song, you know, and just a performer, singer, dancer, just a famous like all-star like person in the theater, movie, and performance area. So he's one of the legit OGs, probably the most famous out of all of them. Also an amazing dancer, but not as good maybe as the other guys, but you know, he can do all of it. Gregory Hines is a throwback. He's a triple threat as well. He can do all three. I love this movie. I love Gregory Hines. I saw Gregory Hines in a theater do his whole one-man show. He was spectacular. He passed away. Yeah, he died young. And I was a huge fan. He's in this one movie called Running Scared. It's a rated R movie. Love it. It's with Billy Crystal. We'll watch that movie when it comes out in the R rated when you're old enough. And then he's also in History of the World Part 1, another R rated movie. He's a small role in that, but he's spectacular. So big ups to these guys, legend actors from the old school where they can do a little bit more than anything. You know, they're not just actors. They're not just singers. They're not just dancers. They're all three. So. There
are multiple people in the industry.
Yeah.
Why don't we get into the recap?
Okay. The movie begins in a jail cell at night. A prisoner named Max begins to think about his childhood and he starts scatting. Then he gets up and does a tap number to the anger and hate of all the prison mates. Who knows what time in the morning it was?
I agree. I feel like they're painted to be these haters, but I would be like, if you're in jail, first of all, you have all the time in the world. Like, you have all day to do this, and you choose however late or early it is in the morning to tap right at this moment. Like, choose a better time, buddy. I'm trying to take a nap right now.
There's only one thing I can think of where this worked out is the fact that he gets out of jail the next day. Because people are like, let him have it. This is his last day in jail. He's so happy. He just can't control it. Let him go crazy, right? But other than that, I'm like, how in the world does he not get shanked the next day?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he does get released. So maybe that's why he doesn't get stabbed. I don't know. Next day, Max is released from jail. He goes and stays at the Clark Hotel, which is right across the street from Sunny's side of the street, his deceased father's dance studio. Max meets his parole officer. We find out that he was in jail for grand theft. In jail, he gets more time for beating up a guard. Parole officer says, "Do you have a job?" And Max says no. The officer gives him a job washing dishes at a diner. Hey, isn't that always the job in all the movies?
Yeah.
Like you become a dishwasher. That's what all parolees go do. They make like no money.
Why don't you just go and work at a grocery store and McDonald's or something.
They're not going to hire a convict. But it has to be something else, like a factory worker or like a dock worker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would think that there's something else than the trope of a dishwasher at a diner.
Now, are there even dishwashers? Like, don't they just have a giant, like,
Someone's got to put
machine?
them in there. Someone's got to rinse them out and put them in there.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
they do have dishwashers, but they do more than that. They're, the busboy. They do all this and stuff. At his new job, Max gets a visitor. It's Howie, one of his old crime associates. Howie invites him to see his old boss, Francis. They're having a party at his house tonight. Max asks if Nikki will be there, and Howie says, "You gotta let it go, man." Max watches the studio from his room and sees Amy. He goes into the studio and stares at her. He then sees Bob give her a kiss on the cheek. Louis, Amy's son, confronts him for looking at his mom. They have a play fight, and then they hug. Max asks Louis about Bob, and he says he's just a director, not a love interest. So Louis is also an extremely famous dancer, Savion Glover. He also did a show, which I watched. It was called Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk, or Bringing the Funk, Bringing the Noise. I don't know which one was order. Super famous and popular. He's the one who did the choreography for Happy Feet, the movie with the penguins. You remember that movie?
No.
Happy Feet?
No.
It's a cartoon penguin who loves to dance tap. And Savion Glover is the choreographer for that penguin.
I like Surf's Up better.
Yeah, they probably came out around the same time.
And then Penguins of Madagascar. All the triple threat of penguin movies.
There you go. Max walks upstairs to the third floor where all the hoofers, it's great tap dancers, would go.
Seems like a horse name. Like a really good horse.
Maybe. Puts on his tap shoes and starts dancing. Sandman, your favorite character, an old curmudgeon, sees Max from the back and calls little Mo to kick him out. Mo goes to kick him out and realizes it's Max. They embrace, and Mo is so happy to see Max dancing. He tells him he has an idea for a new tap show, and Max is the right guy to pull it off. Max says, "No, thank you," and brushes him off. Mo is undeterred and comes back in and starts laughing at Max's dancing. Max takes the bait and snaps back, calling him old. Mo and Sandman call a challenge, and a host of old dancers come into the room and put on a show.
I'm just confused why all the oldies are always wearing tap shoes.
Ready to go at all times. Yeah, because they start running there, right? So It's not like they go.
If you're walking around, aren't you messing up your shoes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to wear them outside of like the wood floors. But maybe it's all wood floors upstairs. It's an old building, maybe. No linoleum or anything like that.
I also have seen this scene before watching the movie.
Did I show it to you or something?
Yeah.
Because I loved it so much. Mo goes last, and he and Max start dancing together. Then Amy walks in, and everyone splits. She yells at Mo for dancing. He's on medical instruction to stay off his feet.
I can't imagine a world where I would go up to one of my grandparents and just start yelling at them for dancing. What? Are you serious? Like, is it that big of a deal? Like, that's clearly is, like, what makes him happy. He's always wearing his tap shoes. Like, he's ready to go for a challenge. And you're like, get off your feet, oldie. Like, you're not supposed to be doing this. Like, well, just let him live for a little bit. Like, I can't imagine where I would be, like, yelling at my own grandparent to stop dancing. Like, wouldn't you want them to have more movement, even if it's hurting them, just to make them feel happy?
I would say me 10 years ago would disagree with you. Like, when my mom was getting sick and couldn't eat salt, and we were taking care of her and making sure. And I would get mad at her. She would try to sneak some salt. We would try to hide the salt. We would put, like, no sodium salt on the table, And then I feel this big regret later going like, I should have just let her eat whatever the heck she wanted. And she should have been, you know what I'm saying? Like, life is too short to be doing that. I get her point of view. He's going to suffer and it's going to be horrible. And he's going to be like swollen feet, might be in bed for a couple of days. He might be in so much pain. So I get that. But at the same time, yeah, you would think, hey, let's just let him go. And so please remember this. If I'm an old man and the doctor said, no, he can't have any more candy. And then here I am with a bunch of Twizzlers and I'm just scarfing him down. And you're like, you know what, Dad, that makes you happy. Get your scarf on. Get your scarf on.
Unless you don't have any teeth.
I'm just sucking on him. It'll work out. Anyways, Max tries to flirt with Amy right there and then. She shuts the door in his face. That's a good move right there. Good move.
I don't know. You can still talk through the door.
No, it's a sign. You're being told something. You don't have to say anything to know that I don't want you here. Leave. Mo tells Amy that he thinks it's fate that Max is back. He's the only one that can pull off this tap show. Amy says Max will let you down. Mo says, go ahead and invite Max over to dinner and the nightclub for the tap night. She goes to see Max and he flirts with her and she's angry because he abandoned her and Lewis. Lewis is not his son, but Max did help raise him. I don't understand because she doesn't know he was in jail until later. Why wouldn't you tell her?
Yeah, I don't
Wouldn't it be better
understand.
for her to feel like not abandoned? Like, okay, maybe you feel shame that you're in jail like a loser.
Well, I thought that he abandoned her before to go and do like the expedition and then he got sent to jail.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe like a week or 2 weeks. But I'm saying he's been gone for 2+ years, right? That kid is like 13, maybe 14. He was 12 when he left. That was his father figure. Like you would think like, hey guys, I'm in jail. I blew it. I'll be home as soon as I can. And then people would be like, all right. Because him leaving for 2 years, just bouncing for no reason, is enough to make anyone furious with him.
And what I'm most confused about is that Lewis runs up to him with a hug.
Well, that's like his dad.
Yeah, but it's like he doesn't believe that he got abandoned. It's like almost like he knew he was in jail or something. Like, welcome back. It wasn't like, where'd you go?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's just happy to see him. And then
I don't
maybe
think he's like 14.
there was there's kind of like a moment like he was in and out of his life. So it was kind of like maybe he was bounced. He would take off for 2 weeks and do a job in like Kentucky or, you know what I mean? So there could be a point where he was always just kind of a flake, but he's been gone 2.5 years or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's just, I would, to get Amy not to hate me and maybe a little bit of love in jail, like a letter here and there, right? But no, he doesn't say anything.
And my question is that one of them is like, oh yeah, that's basically Lewis's dad when Amy like couldn't handle it, that he raised the kid. I don't see any world where Amy would not do everything in her power to raise that kid. Like I can't, because they were just kind of like, oh, Amy couldn't handle it, so he raised the kid. That was like a line, something like that. And then I'm like,
that.
I don't think that would ever happen
She's
with
super
Amy.
strong.
She's
Yeah.
like most extreme character that's like gonna do anything.
She's tough.
Yeah.
She's going to make it work.
She's like one of the toughest people in this whole movie. It
For sure.
wouldn't make any sense that he would be raising this kid and not her.
That night, Mo is watching for Max, who doesn't show up. They look across the street and see Max get into a limo instead. Max goes to Francis' party and sees Nikki. They almost get into a fight. Max blames him for his incarceration because Nikki left him at the job with no ride. Francis tells him to bury the hatchet and invites Max into a jewelry heist with them. Max says no, but he agrees to scope it out for some money.
Like a jewelry heist. Like I'm telling you, it's kind of ridiculous.
That's the point. I'm telling you, it's
yeah,
like a
but the
cheesy
rest of
movie.
the movie isn't ridiculous like that.
Sure it is. The dance scenes, they're just like out of nowhere. Who's doing a challenge? It's just fun.
Yeah, well, those are oldies. Oldies do stuff like that all the time.
I mean, it wasn't about like the gentrification of New York City in the 1980s where the last of vestiges of great dance. It wasn't about that. It was just more fun. Jewelry heist made sense.
I think it could have been done better. It just didn't fit at all. It felt out of place.
After the party, Max goes to the nightclub and sees Amy and her students, the Shim Sham girls, and they do a performance. So my performance, my final exam in my tap class, was called the Shim Sham Shimmy. We all learned how to do it, and I thought I crushed it.
And your professor didn't.
Guess the expert in the room didn't think so. But I thought I did really great. And I did that routine for everybody in college. Like, I remember doing that routine on a coffee table at a party. Like, it's good times. Mo introduces Max to Harry, the nightclub owner. They talk about their idea of mixing tap and rock and roll with the use of synthesized tap shoes. Max blows it off and crashes Amy and Bob talking. Max is rude and Bob excuses himself. What'd you think of that idea? Putting rock and tap together to save tap.
I would have also declined the offer because it just sounds stupid.
I don't think it sounds stupid. I think it is stupid. And the final performance that we see at the end is the performance of that. And it's so dumb.
Why can't he just tap to rock music?
Exactly. Yes, you can.
You just need anything with a rhythm. Why does he need to make the rhythm with his shoes? Like synthesizers or whatever. Like his noise is enough.
Yeah, and the synthesizer, is that rock music? Isn't rock music like drums and guitar and bass and
I guess electric guitar came with rock.
Yes, but to me, if you're gonna do hip hop and do or R&B with his synthesized music, that makes more sense. But is rock so popular in the 80s that's what you want to do? I don't know. I thought that whole thing.
I think he could have just tapped to rock music and it would have been equally interesting.
And it's funny because the final performance, the best part of his final performance isn't the rock music. It's like an African beat that he dances to, African dancing. And I thought he looked amazing and the music sounded great. And I'm like, see, that's a show I would watch, not some dumb synthesized rock show. So dumb.
It's very strange.
Anyway, shimmy. Little Mo then calls Max out to do a tap demonstration for the club. Max says no, and Amy forces him to. He tells her he'll do the dance if she goes to dinner with him. Then Max takes everyone out into the streets and tells them that tap dancing comes from the sounds of the city. They go to a construction site and there's a huge tap production. Amy's happy and agrees to go on the date.
This is very musical vibes.
Very much so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like old school cheesy.
But it's like things are not fitting in together. It's like there's too many vibes. There's this heist vibe, and then there's this musical vibe, and then there's this homey feel good movie vibe, and they're shamming them all into one movie.
Nice putting the sham word into there. Date night. Max goes over to the sunny side, and Amy is running late from her class. He offers to teach her while she gets ready. He sees Anthony, a boy in the class, not dancing. He asks Lewis to come and do some dancing to entice Anthony to try. Lewis says no, but eventually he takes over the class after Max beats him in cards. Lewis is great, and Anthony joins the class as Amy and Max leave for their date. Now Savion Glover showing his moves. Max and Amy go to a fancy restaurant. Max tells her that the reason he's been gone is because he was in jail. Amy asks why he got back into dancing, and he said he was in solitary confinement, and the only thing he could do to breathe was to dance. He doesn't want to do it for a living, though, because he doesn't want to be broke like his father. Amy says she doesn't care about money. That's the other thing. He takes her to this nice, fancy restaurant. Halfway, before they even eat, she says, let's go. She obviously doesn't care about money.
Yeah.
And he obviously cares about her. So, why does he feel he has to buy her? Or make her life this rich life?
Especially because the number one thing in her life is her son and dancing.
That's it.
And if he's in and out of dancing, she feels the most joy that he's dancing and seeing him dance. Why would he not want to make her happy like that?
Having a fancy watch or going to eat some fancy restaurant doesn't make her happy. Dancing made her happy. When she saw him dancing in the streets at the construction site, she was beaming with joy. That made her joyous. And that's when she agreed to go on the date. Dude, figure it out. She doesn't want your money. Before dinner is even over, Max and Amy leave to see a Broadway tap show that she and Bob are working on. She tells him he should audition. He says, hard pass. He likes the baller life. The next day, Max is working and gets upset. He starts breaking dishes on purpose. He gets fired and goes to the audition for Amy's show. She's ecstatic when he gets the job. That night, she wants to teach him the choreography, and they do a routine they knew since they were young. It gets sensual. They start making out and hook up. Inappropriate!
I don't understand why the kid was oh.
Happy for it.
Yeah.
So nasty, yeah. He's hey, weird. Good job, buddy. Kind of giving him the wink, hey, you hooked up with my mom.
It's very strange.
Very strange,
odd.
Very weird, yeah, I agree. Also, that love scene was long.
Yeah.
Very long. They were naked together. I mean, you don't see any nudity, but very long time. I guess this is how the 80s movies were. Those love scenes were forever. But I was that's a little long now. Especially for such a goofy movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I still feel like it was a strange addition to the movie.
The love scene?
Yeah.
Well, they love each other.
But it didn't really... It was very odd to put in. I feel like it's... The whole thing is that they have such a cute love together. And it's so sweet and innocent. I feel like a more loving dance scene would have been better.
The scene was nice. They could have kissed and that would have been the end of it, right?
Yeah.
That we're saying? Because they danced together. They knew each other. It's like they've known each other for years, like maybe decades. And so that closeness was as important as their intimacy. That is the intimate moment.
Yeah.
Especially when they were doing the dance, because the dance was sensual. It was sexy. You're right. It doesn't need to have the sex scene there. The next morning, Nikki comes to the studio asking if Max is down for the jewelry heist. They get into an argument, and Max backs down when Nikki takes out a gun.
If he hates Nikki so much, why is he even like engaging in this?
He should have just said no. Well, money. It's about money. For
yeah,
Max.
but I don't know. He could have gone and found a different person to work for.
Yeah.
Or he could have just agreed to do one if Nikki wasn't in it.
He's going to get $80K. No, because Francis had told him, bury the hatchet. I need my guys. Or you guys got to figure this out. Because he did try to go, I'm not working with that guy again. They're like, just let it go. Yes, we're going to make some good money. And they would if he would have made $80,000 because he actually stole the diamonds he returned them to.
Nikki's relationship with Max was a very strange addition.
Because Nikki was like forgiving, let's bury the hatchet. I hate you. Let's bury the hatchet. I have a gun in your face. Let's bygones be bygones. He's like, no. So I don't know. Also, there's a scene with Nikki that
And why would Nikki be mad at Max? He's not in jail. Nikki was fine.
Well, they lost the job. So all the money that they were going to make, he didn't get it. So he's mad at him because maybe he lost out on a bunch of money from a job that he messed up because he showed up drunk.
I don't know.
Yeah. Dance rehearsals begin, and Max is auditioning for a solo part in the show. He does his own choreography, and Bob tells him to do it his way and to smile. Max sucks it up and does it, but Bob degrades him as he dances. Max eventually snaps and slams Bob down.
I don't know why he let it get to the... Like, why would it... As soon as that guy started telling me what to do, I'd be like, actually, I don't want a solo part. Actually, I'm just going to be in the ensemble.
Because of Amy.
He didn't want to ever be in that part anyways. Like, Amy would have understood. Like,
he doesn't have a job now. I mean, that's his job now.
Yeah, but he was already in the musical. He didn't need the solo.
Yeah, he could have, because he already said no, pass. And then he could have just let it go. You're like, fine, you're losers. This is a dumb show anyways.
Yeah.
It wasn't a veiled racist thing. It's a overt racist situation what Bob does. And I don't know how Amy even lets it go.
Yeah.
Amy is upset for him, but then goes back to Bob. That's her job. I understand that. But the fact that he tells him to dance is like a racist slur when you tell anyone to dance. And then smile on top of it. Kind of like saying, just do as you're told. And so it makes sense that Max would have an outburst. I just thought it was way too over the top and obvious how racist Bob is.
And no one else stood up for him.
No. Well, they're afraid. They're just, they're trying to get the same job. They're trying to get the same solo. They're trying to make a career out of it. So I get that. Why Amy didn't, I don't know. But Bob is
Why Max listened is also out of character.
Well, it's all about Amy. I get it. Like, I don't see him doing it. He exploded, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought he would explode earlier. And lucky he didn't just knock him out, right?
Yeah.
But I think he wanted this for Amy. He's trying to be with Amy. And he figures that if I do this, then Amy will be happy with me. Then I can be happy too. He goes to the studio and says goodbye to Mo and Lewis. Mo tells Max that rehearsals for his new tap show are tomorrow morning, and he's welcome to join him. Max meets with Howie and Nikki for the jewelry heist. Max climbs the building, gets into the safe, and gets all the diamonds. But then the sounds of the city get into his heart, and he changes his mind. That's cheesy, right?
Yeah.
Max climbs back down without the diamonds, and Nikki threatens to kill him with a gun. Max knows he won't use it, and knocks Nikki out and leaves.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust it. If anyone's holding a gun to my head, I'm not going to be like, haha, bluff.
Yeah, but I think maybe because he held it to it last time. I don't know. It was the second time, and that was you're like, oh, you're being bluffy. Max goes back to the studio the next day, ready to work. Amy, Lewis, and Mo all take him back in. Back at the club, it's showtime. Max sings a song and starts dancing with the synthesized tap shoes. Crowd eats it
off.
The crowd eats it up, and he gets huge cheers. The end. Loved it. I love this movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable. And the tap dancing is I can watch that on replay. Especially Jimmy Slide, my favorite dancer in the whole movie. The dude is like pretty much slipping and falling the whole time, but it looks so cool. You know what I'm talking about? Exactly. And you love Jimmy Slide too. There was another guy in my tap dance class.
Was his name Jimmy Slide?
No, I hate that guy. Maybe he was better than me. I don't know. Because, it was like 40 girls, 2 dudes, me being one of them. The other guy, such a kiss butt to the teacher. It's like Jimmy Slide. That guy like defies the laws of gravity. I'm like, shut up. You're dumb. Like, I don't want to hear that, bro. Stop kissing up to the teacher. You're so dumb. Everybody knows that. Like, stop. I don't know if he went to the advanced course. I just hope he did it. That's evil, right? Yeah, I should want good for him, but I'm like, I hope he didn't do the shim sham shimmy as well as I did. I hated that guy. Because me, 38 girls, and him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in the way. All right, could this movie still be made today?
Probably.
Wouldn't he be tap dancing? What do you think it would be now? Like, what kind of rock and roll music? Now that there's no rock, there's no rock stars that are popular. I mean, yes, there are, I guess, but not as much.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be like ballet or something.
Okay, like a ballet movie. That makes sense. Is there anything you had issues with or anything in your notes?
Not really. I thought it was weird. The whole Broadway guy was very strange. Like
Bob.
I didn't understand his character at all.
It looked like he wanted to hook up with Amy.
Yeah. And I thought they were dating. And then I was like, wait, is she cheating on him? But then you said later that Lewis was like, oh, they're not dating. But yeah. Why is he like always kissing her? Always like doing that? Like, that's your coworker. Like you don't go up to your coworker and like kiss them on the cheek like multiple times.
I think that's like a casting couch situation. I think he is the director, so he's not the coworker. He's the boss. And so I'm going to get away with it. So I'll do it. Like a dirty old man. I honestly think that like sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what it's like.
And so then, I don't know if they'd have that anymore because they kind of made it normal in the movie. Like they didn't make it like a
they made the guy
thing.
A jerk. They made the guy a jerk.
Yeah,
they made
but
the
they
guy
didn't
the worst
make
kind
that
of jerk.
part of him creepy. Like she kind of just went with it. Wasn't like she's like, oh, this guy or anything. Like I feel like if they made this movie now, it would be kind of like a grosser thing. Like they would kind of make him more of a creep. Where in this movie, it's kind of like normalized almost. Like they're kind of normalizing his behavior. Like we all know he's a jerk from what he does to Max later in the movie, but like that part of him isn't really seen as like a bad thing. I would say this is like 25 plus years before Me Too. I would say that this is something that you wouldn't think is bad, and it makes sense that it wouldn't be happening today, especially without Amy kind of standing up for herself, right? Like no, let's be professional here. And maybe that would cost her job, so that's why she doesn't do it. But it doesn't also make it feel like she is anti it. Like she hates it. It's not like she like kind of like moves her head aside. Kind of like brushes them off. Or like in a movie now, like he'd like lean in for the kiss and she'd be like some kind of way to move away or pull back. But she kind of just like, oh, hi. Like it's like normal for her. Yeah, like they greet that way. Yeah, and I think it's a little strange. I don't think it would be made that way. So also, dancers are very huggy, feely, kissy. So I don't know if that's... I mean, he's not a dancer. He's a director. The whole point of this movie is that he doesn't dance at all. No, he doesn't. Right. And Max makes fun of him for not dancing. So, anything else? No. All right. This is pass the Bechdel test. No. Thank you for tuning in. Bechdel test is a test to check for female representation in movies. There are 3 criteria. Criteria number 1, are there 2 or more named females? No. Not even a reason to keep talking. Pass 0 out of 3. Only Amy. And that's it. I don't think there's another girl in the movie. Well, the Shim Sham girls. But they don't have names. They're called... The Shim Sham girls? That's what their name is? No, that's not. They're a collective unit. Yeah, it's pretty much about their relationship. So, Amy and Max. I also thought Amy, she's gorgeous. Now, first, beautiful. She's gorgeous. And on top of that, how great a dancer she is makes her even more gorgeous to me. Anything else before we finish the pod? No. Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app, or like our podcast on YouTube. If you watched till the end of today's episode, comment down below the music emoji.
We put out an episode every Monday.
If you want to see extra podcast content, follow our TikTok at Papi Approved Movies.
If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
that's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestions.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye.